What's up, guys? Coming at you from a basement in the woods in a small little town called Old Lyme in Connecticut. What's up? Sending you waves to all you folks. So this is a Q&A session, so I'm just going to be hanging and, hey guys, you know, just kind of consider it that, like, you know, I'm just hanging at a Starbucks or something, and you walk on by and you're like, hey, let me just ask you this question. So if you got any guitar-related questions, if you've got any songwriting-related questions, strumming, chord inversions, anything like that, just hit me up. Hey, guys. What's up, Quinn? What's up? Yeah, so hit me with anything you got. In the meantime, I'm just going to walk into a little strumming exercise thing that somebody had asked me over a comment. What is the difference between straight strumming and swing strumming? So that's a really awesome question, and a lot of us, we just kind of like know the difference by ear. We don't really know what the fuck is going on, like really what's happening. And sometimes that can be enough to just go by ear. Other times it is really kind of helpful to know what's going on under the hood. So as I go through this and explain the difference between straight strumming and swing strumming, you know, just think if you got any questions, just drop them in the comments. I'll see it, and we'll have a conversation. So, just saying hey to everybody. All right, so first off, let me just play you. Let me play you a straight strum. So straight strum sounds like this. And a swing strum sounds like this. So when you hear it, it's like it's pretty obvious that there's a big difference. The straight strum kind of has that like almost like robotic feel. And then the swing feel kind of feels like a horse gallop. A. Lombardo 27, when is it right to use a 7 chord over a regular diatonic? Great question. I'll cue it up. I'll hit that one next. So with our straight strum, imagine that your strums are spaced like evenly. They're exactly the same distance. So just sort of think about it in terms of like a visual geometry almost. They're spaced exactly the same distance from each other, like the rungs in a train track. You end up getting that da-da-da-da-da sort of feel. Now with a swung strum, the second note in a pair, so like in the straight feel, you can consider each note to be one of a pair. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, or down, up, or one and whatever. In a swung strumming pattern, the second note in that couplet is closer to the first, but the next downstroke is the same distance from the original first. So, you know, if each strumming kind of looks like a horseshoe, in a straight pattern, the horseshoe creates an even pattern with all of the strums. In a swung pattern, the horseshoe is smaller, but the next one is still evenly spaced. So basically, the upstroke crowds the downstroke. Sorry, I have that absolutely wrong. The upstroke crowds the next downstroke. So you've got a little bit of a longer space, my bad. I've got a 2.5-year-old, and I've been getting 4 hours of sleep for the last 4 months. Anyways, so the second half of the strum in a swung strum, it crowds the next downstroke. So it's long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short. Okay? So that's the difference between a swing and a straight strum. Yeah, Henry, it has been 2 years since. Okay, so if you got any questions about that, let me know. I would have questions after that explanation, half sleep induced. Okay, so A Lombardo 27. When is it right to use a 7 chord over regular diatonic? And I like the fact that you put the word right in quotations, because the idea that anything is right or wrong in music is, I think a lot of us get into music because we like to avoid that feeling of being a part of the herd and like being told what is right and what is wrong. Fuck that. But I know exactly what you mean. Like when is it right? Meaning like when is it most common, or when are they most commonly used, or how can they sound good? So the answer is, when is it right? You're going to... Okay, I'm sorry, but let's first define a 7 chord is a chord that's got the 7th step of the major scale, or the flat 7 step of a major scale. So like a G major 7 would be this, or a G7 would be this. So G major 7, G7. So the second vocab word that you used in there, diatonic chord, a regular diatonic chord. Are you asking just like kind of like a major triad, like just a regular G? And if so, when would you use this in progression? Just a regular G7 or a major 7? Okay, awesome. Thank you for that. Right, yeah, regular triad is what you mean, diatonic. Yeah, that's the right word. I just want to make sure that I'm going to go down the right path here. So, your G major 7, I'm sure there's some deep theoretical reason why you would use a G major, or like a major 7. However, that major 7, the fact that that 7 is in your major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it makes it less unstable. So in terms of its like functionality, like why the fuck are you going to use a G major 7? It's kind of just for sound. It's just kind of for shimmer. It's kind of just for your taste. It doesn't necessarily feel like it's being magnetized towards some other chord. That's for a major 7 chord. However, if you're talking about just a straight 7 chord, or they call them dominant 7 chords, where you're using the 7th step of the scale, but then flatting it by 1. That has a unstable feeling, this note, and it wants to resolve. It wants to go somewhere else. So when is it right to use a dominant 7 chord or just a 7 chord? It's right, or it works really well when you know where you want it to go to next, where you want this unstable note to go, in this case, to the E, or something like that. So it feels like it's pulling you somewhere. All right, so in the case of, let's say, a D a D dominant 7, so this guy. So the 7th step of the D scale, flatted by 1. This guy, it wants to go down by 1. And it wants to go to a G. So you can use dominant 7 chords, or you'll see them just written as 7. You can use them as artificially creating more magnetism to another chord, because it's going to want to resolve and be pulled towards another chord. So again, a G7 wants to be pulled. That E string right there, 1st fret, wants to be pulled towards the open E. So you can do that with a C chord. Let's see how it sounds for like an E minor. Kind of sounds cool there. How about an A minor? It sounds cool with an A minor. So if you, blowing my mind right now, laugh out loud. Okay, dude, you're making my night. Thank you. I was stoked to hop on here, and these are exactly the conversations that I'm looking to have. So I'm glad that that's useful to you. So, anyways, your dominant 7 chord, that flat 7, it wants to be pulled down by a single note. So in that case, it's this fret. It wants to go to the open E. Any chord that has it, so like a C. Or let's take, again, that D major 7. That major 7 is this guy right here. It wants to be pulled down by 1 fret. And a G would work really well, because it goes from here in the D to open in the G. Alright, so music is all about fucking magnetism. All these notes, they want to be pulled in some direction. And understanding which notes want to be pulled and in what direction, it's going to help you write better chord progressions. There's so much magic happening under the hood between any chord. Each chord is a series of notes, and each note has magnetism in and of itself, and it wants to be pulled in a different direction. And that's the magic of writing good chord progressions. And it's the absolute magic of this fucking crazy system that some medieval Italian person created when they made this system of music. I don't need to understand all that to know how to use it, which is an awesome thing. But anyways, that was a long-winded way to answer your question. And, oh, cool. Nice, you got another one. The Beatles often have a major then some minor chord in their progression. How do you get away with that? Okay, so what that is, okay, so for example, maybe like this. How they might use like a C major in one part, and then when they go back to the C, it's a minor. Okay, nice. And Romeo Joseph 930, where did you both your GETO? If you could just rephrase that for me, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean by that, bud. So just type it again if you don't mind. Okay, so A Lombardo 27. If you're comfortable, man, what is your first name? I just so I'm using your real name. Okay, so what you're saying is like, how do you okay? So you're asking. Oh. All right, Anthony. So yeah, so in my life, they go from a D major to a D minor, back to the A. So that all goes back to what you're doing is you are borrowing a chord from another scale. So you can use that really effectively on the fourth chord of any major scale. So for you folks out there that... Okay, so you're asking, how do you pull it off in a chord progression? It always sounds stupid when you do it. Okay, so here's the secret, man. There are certain things that you can do with certain chords within a key. So the first thing we need to kind of just like get, for anybody to get some context, in a key signature there are 7 main chords that you can use, and you label them, number them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in that system, chords 1, 4, and 5 are going to be major chords. Chords 2, 3, 6, and 7 are going to be minor chords, with the 7 being a special kind of minor called a diminished chord. So let me show you what I mean. So in the key of A, the 1 chord is an A major, the 2 chords a B minor, 3 chords a C minor, 4 chord is a D, 5 chords an E, 6 chords an F sharp minor, the 7 chord is a G sharp diminished, oops, my bad, and the 1 chord's an A. Okay, so when you think of chords as numbers and having a major or minor designation for each of those chords, again, 1 and 4 and 5 are major, 2, 3, 6, and 7 are minor, with the 7 being that diminished minor. When you know that pattern, you can fuck with those and change them and create really cool things. So for example, you can make the 4, when it usually should be a major, and make it a minor, and it creates a cool sound. So to answer your question, how do you use that major to minor thing and make it sound cool? You just got to do it on the 4 chord. So Anthony, can you tell me like what key signature you write in typically, or like what chord shapes you're using, like G, C, and D, A, D, and E, like whatever, and we'll find the 4 chord and I'll show you how to do it. And so while I'm waiting for you to get back to me, here's my shameless self-promotion. I'm doing a strumming workshop on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. It's for people who struggle with their strumming, and it goes in, their rhythm is like jerky, and that lack of rhythm makes them feel uncomfortable playing with other musicians or playing in front of audiences. This workshop is designed to get you solid with your strumming so that you have a framework to lean into your strumming pattern and strum confidently. So if you are at all interested in that, you can type the numbers 22 into the comments here, and I've got some fucking robot thing. It'll send you a link that you can check out the page to get a ticket to that. So again, you can type the number 22 into the chat, and some little robot thing will automatically send you a link so you can check it out. That is for the Unshakable Strumming Workshop on Friday. Okay, so Anthony, you say G, C, and D often. Okay, so in the key of G, your 1 chord is G, 2 is A minor, 3 is B minor, 4 is C major, 5 is D major, 6 is E minor, 7 is F sharp diminished, 1 is G. Alright, so to use this major and then shifting directly to the same chord but in the minor form, it works beautifully on the 4. So that 4 chord in the key of G is C. So anytime you want to use it in the key of G, you just do it on a C chord. And it usually sounds great when you go back to the 1 chord. Okay, so you also said F sharp, A, and B. Those are the chords you're using, Anthony, or those are the keys? Let me know. And we can go through it. Any key you want. HJ Flower 98. Do you think we can learn rhythm, or is it innate mostly? I don't believe anything is innate. I think that anybody can learn anything. There may have been some people that grew up being exposed to different influences that helped them learn certain aspects of music, or anything really that makes it seem like they were born with some natural skill. And maybe there's some truth to some natural skill, but rhythm absolutely is something that you can learn if you're willing to look at things from a different perspective. In terms of strumming, rhythm is really a mechanical thing. And part of the thing that I'm going to be talking about in and teaching in my workshop on Friday is the idea of a pendulum strumming system where the right hand is constantly moving, and your strumming pattern is going to get its character based on when you make contact with the strings going up and down. And what I mean is, like, if your right hand is constantly moving like this, and you want a strumming pattern that has it's a lot of upbeats, it's very syncopated, and that might be really difficult to sing and play over, to sing over if you didn't have a system for it. And so really, if you can move your hand up and down in a rhythmic in a steady, consistent motion like this, then you have the rhythm to do pretty much any strumming pattern you want. You just choose when you make contact with the strings as you pass by. And so you can feel like you get unlocked from like needing to know a rigid strumming pattern. So it's like, you see on Ultimate Guitar, the strumming pattern is this. But once you start singing over it, it gets a little hard to do that exactly. This pendulum motion and the system that I'm going to be talking about on the workshop on Friday, it enables you, with this motion, it enables you to never need to be locked into a specific strumming pattern ever again, because whenever you happen to make contact with the strings, you're going to be on a grid and you're going to be in time. It doesn't matter if your strumming pattern says exactly what the thing tells you, or you deviate. You see how that all works? It's because I'm on this grid. I'm using this pendulum strumming system. And as you try your own strumming, I encourage you to think about that. And if you want more help, again, I'm going to be doing a workshop on Friday, 10 a.m. EST. Just type the number 22 in the comments, and it will shoot you a link. And you can join me on Zoom with a bunch of other people. It's going to be awesome. So let me know if that was helpful, or if you got any questions about that. All right, so Anthony, you say, what tips for people who want to learn to sing while playing more complicated guitar parts? Okay, well, the first thing is that you got to get good at at both things independently. So if you've got a guitar part that goes That's a lot of chord changes, you know? And if you are not solid on that, if you can't do that part intuitively, almost like in your sleep, sorry. Like, you got to be able to have a conversation with it and just fly around and put it to some sort of like automatic part in your brain, kind of like driving a car. In the beginning, if you had to learn to drive stick shift, you know, it'd be like impossible to just do it, because you got to do the clutch, you got to shift, you got to do your blinkers, you got to do the gas, you got to steer, you got to look in your rear view mirrors. It's like a million different things. But now, like, if you get good at it, you can have a conversation on the phone, and like you can grab your kid's toy from the front seat and give it back to them, and, you know, shout at somebody out the window when they're being an asshole. The point is, you get good at things and you sort of file them away into the automatic part of your brain, and the guitar part should feel like it's heading that way. So that you can sort of do it without even thinking about it. And then the vocal part should also feel like you can do it independently. You know where the beats fall in a measure, and you kind of have this idea where how to do them each independently. That's step 1 and 2. It's like you get one good on its own, you get the other good on its own. And then step 3 would be where you marry the two together and you realize that they're not actually two separate parts. You start to think of your body as the instrument, and it's like a drum set. Like, yes, there is a snare, yes, there is a kick drum, but to the listener or to the drummer performing, they're one thing. They're married in their mind, and those two elements, they morph together in a way sort of like a jigsaw puzzle. And you'll realize that, like, your vocals sit on top of your guitar part, and they interact with the rhythm of your guitar part in a very specific way. So, for example, if your vocal melody goes, I don't know, whatever, your vocal line is interacting with your guitar part in a way that you can sort of use your guitar playing as the cornerstone that your vocals can sit on top of. Sort of like an overly simplified explanation, and I apologize for that. But the basic premise is they will link with each other, and you don't want to think of them as two separate things. You can think about specific words and specific syllables laying on top and locking with specific strums with your guitar. It sounds kind of insane, but if you just take it slow and just realize, oh yeah, this down strum is where I say this word, this up strum is where this weird accent happens, you'll start to really kind of piece it together. Do you think that it's a song by song basis that it works? In the beginning, yeah. So like, are you feeling like all of your singing and guitar playing doesn't really feel like it meshes well, or is some of it feeling okay? Let me know. In the beginning, hey guys, I'm sorry, I'd like to wave to everybody. Thank you for being here. In the beginning, it's gonna feel like it's getting done on a song by song basis. And for anybody that's just joining us, Anthony, okay, so you say some, so it kind of feels like it meshes for you. In the beginning, it's going to feel like it needs to be done on a song by song basis. It's okay. So simple guitar parts with simple melodies is fine. All right. Well, so yeah, in the beginning, you're going to need to do it on a song by song basis because the different characteristics of each song's parts are going to feel new, like it's something you've never encountered before. But as you do it over and over again, you're going to be able to put it on autopilot because there are concepts that are being used, like for example, like singing a vocal syllable on an upstroke down an accent. I went to the again, sort of sorry for the funny examples, but like, so that vocal syllable on that upbeat right there, if it's the first time you've ever done something like that, that's going to feel awkward as hell. But the more you do it, the 50th song that you do that's got a vocal syllable that lands on an upbeat, that concept is going to feel super natural to you, and you're going to be able to do it without really thinking about it. So I hope that helps, at least to just kind of like share my thought on the concept. Really, it's just time logged, hours logged. You will start to notice patterns, so that you can sort of like copy and paste certain concepts to other songs. So it's not like you're reinventing the wheel every time. So thanks for these questions. Really, really awesome stuff. So if anybody has any other questions, I'll hang for another couple minutes, and then we'll chat. And if not, we'll catch up another time. I hope these sessions are useful for you, and I'd love to know what you guys are struggling with. Like, what are the roadblocks that are in front of you that are keeping you from feeling like you can advance forward? That's what I do these for, to just see what's going on with you, because it helps me make better content, it helps me think of better video ideas, it helps me make better courses. And there are a lot of people out there that are really, a lot of the guitar teacher guru people, I'm just a stoner dude in the basement. There are a lot of people who offer and teach these like broad sweeping curriculums of like, give me 14 days, give me a month, I'll make you a virtuoso or some shit like that. A lot of people are doing, I guess, good courses. For sure, there's good stuff out there. But the thing I'm interested in is helping people with like small, specific problems, because I feel like when we get those small problems answered, that's when the biggest breakthroughs happen, I feel. Life is busy too, so big, huge curriculums aren't really easy to digest and finish. But, say like a session like this where we can talk about something, or a course that's not even an hour long, or an ebook that's only, 30 pages and half of it is diagrams or videos or whatever. That's the ideas that I get from your guys' comments. So, yo, Mike, what's up? Okay, so you, HJ Flower 98, and I'm sorry, we've talked a bunch, and I think we may have exchanged names, but if you wouldn't mind, if you're comfortable with it, you let me know your first name so I can not call you HJ Flower 98. You struggle with fast swing rhythm. Yeah, so that is a great subject. I opened this conversation up with the difference between straight and swing rhythms, and I think I kind of fumbled it a little bit because I was saying something that, Holly, yes, okay. Yeah, so the secret to getting anything good at a fast tempo is that there is no secret. What's the phrase? The shortcut is the long way. And so really it's just practice, but it's intentional practice. There's like a difference to there's a different way to practice something. I used to do karate for 12 years way back in the day, and our instructor would always talk about how you should practice a technique slowly and get it good and master it slowly before you speed it up, because if you try speeding up sloppy technique, you're only getting good at sloppy technique. So the same thing applies with anything guitar related or anything really in your life. Get it good slow. So with a swing pattern, if you can get it feeling good here, and actually side note, anything you want to build speed with in music, metronome or playing to a drum jam track, there's a little hack. If you think metronomes are fucking boring as hell, look on YouTube and just put simple drum backing track and then the BPMs, 80 or whatever. It'll give you a drum beat without music to play with, and you can strum to it instead of like an obnoxious ting, ting, ting click. And it can get you good at playing with a metronome feel, but it's really a drummer. But anything you want to build speed in music, always do a metronome, because you can quantify your progress. You'd be feeling good at 70, bring it to 75. Get it feeling good at 75, get it good at, then bring it up to 80. And if you get good at it slowly, and then you bring it up just a little bit, get good at it there, bring it up a little bit, bring it up a little bit. And of course, you want to be spending 10 minutes at each speed or something like that. That's the way to speed something up. And then before you know it, you're going to be flying, and you're going to feel really good. You're going to feel locked in with that backing drum track or whatever. I hope that helps, Holly. Anthony, Yangwei will give you the keys to the Lambo. Number one, much respect for that artist. My lane is folk music. I will not be making my debut on the Shredders stage anytime soon. Number two, I drive a 15-year-old Subaru Forester, and I drive like a grandma. So Yangwei's going to be disappointed in me for a number of different reasons. Being creative is hard as fuck, though. Yeah, I'm with you. It's one of the hardest things to do, because we get in our own way, get in our own head about it, and you see it over and over again that the really prolific artists, they are one of two things. They're a fucking sociopath, and they have no feeling of there's no issue. They, like, what's the word that I'm looking for? They have no self-consciousness. They're not self-conscious in the slightest bit. I mean, and that can be good, but like those people that are just like oblivious, Then on the other side, you've got the people who have become so hardened and become so good at working through the fear of delivering content, songs, paintings, whatever. They've become so good at overcoming that fear that they just do it and do it and do it and do it. And so being a creative person, I think it requires silencing that inner judge that's going to speak up the second before you're about to release something. And if you're on here, you're an artist of some kind, even if you're playing covers or whatever, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, the minute you're about to go on stage, or the minute you're about to reach out to somebody to book a live gig, or the minute you're about to think about releasing a song or whatever, any of that shit, there's a judge, a critic that comes up in your mind, and you're just like, this isn't going to be good enough. Why am I going to do this? Even if it's not conscious like that, it's subconscious. There's something in there. And I think the secret to being creative is to just do it anyways. Put yourself in a position to act before you can second guess yourself because of that bullshit that judge is saying. And just constantly release. Constantly create, constantly release. They say write for the trash can. If you are writing and you have no intention of it being any better or worth more than a crumpled up paper in the trash can, then you're not going to put so much expectation and pressure on it, and then it will most likely be better because it's coming from a place of inspiration, not from a place of pressure and feeling self-conscious. So, but I'm with you, man. I have that same exact issue. Yeah. Holly, Liz Gilbert has a great book on creativity. Awesome. Have you guys? Yeah, Mike, I know what you. We've Mike and I have had private sessions, and the dude writes great tunes. We're on the level together, us songwriters. Holly, have you read The Artist's Way? I forget the name of that gal that wrote that book. That's a really cool one. Just ways to get yourself out of your rut creatively and start doing exercises that force you to look at things in a different way. That was a really great one. All right, so hit me with any last questions. Otherwise, I'm going to go and send some emails to my folks here. So again, I am doing a live strumming workshop, the Unshakable Strumming Workshop, on Friday at 10 a.m. EST. Yeah, Mike, I believe it. That's why I said it. The replay will be available to anybody that gets a ticket. It's $7. I only did that so we can keep the trolls out. I just figure anybody that pays $7 is not going there to be an asshole. So it's going to have some great people in it. It's going to be a super small group, but I'm going to be walking you through a 3-step process to eliminate that jerky feel in your strumming, to make you confident to be able to play with others or to play live, and to just give you a system to develop solid strumming. It's for people that have that issue. If you are comfortable in your strumming, then it might not be the right thing for you. But if that's one of your things that you feel like that you just don't have rhythm, it could really help you. So if you want details, just leave the number 2222 in the comment, and it will automatically send you a link to get some info. So have a great night, guys, and I'll be hopping on again sometime soon. And if you ever feel like you need a question answered, just hit me up in one of the comments in my to my reels, or you can shoot me a DM. I'll get back as fast as I can. And I just really appreciate the support and all the great questions and the back and forth. Anthony and Holly and Mike, thank you for all those great questions. Have a great night, guys, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, I hope I sleep too, Holly. We'll see. All right, later, guys.